Have you seen the current state of the National Cathedral right now?
Join him.
Right.
Once he wasn't present there was no need to go. Who calls for a party and then is absent? So once he wasn't present there, this is a
But wait, Charlie, that should let you know that he's actually making mockery of us, or he's making a fool out of us, because you know the current state of the National Cathedral right now, and you know it's nowhere close to commissioning. Why should you then invite the whole of Ghana to join you commission it on the 6th of March when you know it was probably 3 to 5 1 week days?
So, you know, I don't want to take sides here. Neither of them, I think, is right, because the president saw it as it is, that he was he won't be able to pull up the building as he was claiming to reach the point of commissioning. And then the fact that they went there was not the best, because they're just creating a total mockery of the president, and that is nothing to write home about.
Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Youth Chat Room. Over here, algebra meets with excitement, calculus collide with comedy, and geometry get very, very groovy. And so get ready for a wild ride into the world of numbers, where each and every of the episodes promise to be a political, mathematical mayhem. It's not just a show, it's an equation for excitement. My name is Sambo Oliver, and I am your host, doing the most.
Let's try together and louder. Let's my people together, we come as one.
So as the norm has always been, today we are here with Agnes Nuwaza once more, a nursing student at the University of Pentecost, and Charity Toto right beside me. I have one general question for us, but before the question, we have a word of motivation, and today's motivation is: dress how you want to be addressed. If you want to be addressed as the banker, as a rich person, let your dressing do the talking. If you want to be addressed as a student, dress how you want to be addressed. So whatever you do, wherever you go, if you want to be addressed appropriately, let your dressing do the talking. And so up next is our question for today, our general question. What is this particular experience you had back there in SHS that you'll never forget? Let me start from my right hand woman.
Of course, thanks a lot. I was doing the most. Okay, so thinking back through my SHS life, I think the moment I have to share is a very sad one. That is, I had to read a tribute when I was in my 3rd year for the death of a young girl who was in her 1st year. Since I was the school secretary, I had to read it. So we left our school, packed ourselves. I was so happy because I didn't know her. I wasn't happy because I killed her. I didn't know her. she was a sickle cell patient. Yeah.
Okay.
So we just sat in the bus, and I was happy with a couple of my colleagues because we were going with the 3rd years and then the 1st years. We got there, and then the whole atmosphere was cold because someone had died, and then the parents were like wallowing, like yelling, crying, mourning. It was so sad when I got to that atmosphere. But after a while, we sat and then things got a bit better. Okay. And then after the mom read the tribute, it was so sad. We all started crying. We couldn't be happy anymore, even though we didn't know her. Right. And then I read mine, and then it was so scary. I never had a foul pass before, but then I had to pass around her body, and I couldn't look. I think it was not good for me. But then soon I overcame it all, and then we're back here. So it's sad.
Rather unfortunate.
Sure, rather unfortunate.
What about you, Agnes?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'll just say mine was a funny one. I had a lot of amazing experiences here, but so there was this time where taking our mock examinations. It was food and nutrition I remember so well. And you see my short hair. My hair was quite shorter than this. I'm being honest with you.
Right.
And you know from Kosek, right?
right.
So there was this time called debunking. And because we were in Form 3, you know, some of them were keeping their hair.
So
was
bushy.
you understand? So we're taking this paper, and then there's this. I'm hoping he's not watching, but if you are watching, I'm still saying it. Mr. Akpejesu.
Right.
One very, you know, he wasn't having hair plenty though, so like he was the one leading the gang of debunking, you understand? So he walked in because you know my dad is a librarian, so I was like, staff kid, I should get that privilege, you know, I'm a good girl, why should you debunk me? Besides my hair is not bushy and all that. And then because it was mock, people heard it and they were like, it's just mock. They started running out. Me, serious student, so I was sitting there and I was writing. So out of nowhere, I was like, God, please let this pass me by if it is your will.
It wasn't his will.
It wasn't his will. I was just there and I was busily writing, cracking my brains. I could just hear scissors walking through my hair, all the strands.
You didn't even see him coming.
I tell you, my hair was, because I know my hair's not bushy now.
Right.
He just put the so deep.
So deep.
I could just see a big chunk of hair fall on my
Your
paper.
paper.
My heart broke.
Sorry.
So right
It's
after
all tragedy.
I tell you,
It's like Toto's own.
I was so heartbroken. So right after the paper, I just submitted straight, and I went to the barbering shop. I took my hair down very
low.
I still have a picture of it till today.
I don't want to
bet
see
you.
that.
I know, right?
I had all my friends laughing at me and all that, but you know, they are just memories. So,
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
that's one day I'll never forget in my life.
As you being a nursing student, Tato made mention of something that the lady who she had to read a tribute for was a sickle cell patient.
Okay.
Can you enlighten us a little about sickle cell? And I heard one thing that most often than not, it happens when the couple or the producers of the baby, their genes aren't compatible.
Yeah.
Do you have a term for that? You have a term for that?
They are genotypes.
Their genotypes aren't compatible.
Exactly.
Can you enlighten us a little?
Okay, so it's a whole topic for a day, but I'll
right.
try to make it brief.
Right.
Sickle cell disease is something I would say is genetic. Okay, so it is not something that you grow, they give birth to you, then as you are growing, you get it. No, you are born with it. And there's this thing they say AAAS.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard that.
Yeah,
Like, I'll just try to be brief. So that is the person's genotype.
Right.
It is something that when the mother and the father's genotype come together, it gives the features that usually you can see. Okay, that's the the phenotype is what you can see physically, but the genotype is the intrinsic ones. You can't see them, but they'll produce physical effects. So let me just come to the sickle cell. If you are genotype AA and I am genotype AS, okay, so it is advisable usually if I am AS, that means I am a healthy human being, but I have the sickle gene, so I'm carrying the sickle gene. So exactly, I'm a carrier, so I'm healthy. But if I marry somebody who is also AS, the tendency of me we just say giving out an S, okay, so it's scientific, but I'm just trying to explain in layman's terms. So if I give out an S, and it just happens, so you don't decide to let your gene get it. So if you are unlucky and I give out an S, your partner also gives us an S, that is SS, a sickle cell patient.
It's so bad.
I tell you, I would always stand for this. If I ever get the chance to go for Ghana's Most Beautiful, that would be my agenda. It is serious. Kids are dying, they don't live long. Anemia, dehydration, joint pains,
So much of it.
financial stress.
Child would have to die.
I tell you. So it's just advisable, please. I'm talking to everyone out there. If you don't know your genotype, just please go and check it. Okay. If you are AS, please marry somebody who is AA. Don't go for an AS. Don't go for an SS.
Now,
oh no, please. Health comes before any other thing. You say love. When you give birth and your child is falling sick every time, you take your husband's money to the hospital, then he starts to be like, you are a witch, you are spending my money. Once I get money, your child is taking, you are a witch. There will be no happiness in the marriage, I bet you. So the best thing is, if you are AS, marry someone who is AA. If you are AA and you get an AA person, praise the Lord. If you get an AS person, the person is perfectly fine, just a career. Don't ever go for an SS, AS if you are if you're also
AS.
AS. So let me just make it sure.
That is just so
That's
nice
just
of
it.
you. Thank you for
You're
your
welcome.
bit of education and
You're
advice.
welcome.
But I'm still not certain. I have some more questions to ask. I'll throw that to Charity. In a situation or a scenario where you've been with your partner for quite a long time and you are almost getting to marriage, or you've built a kind of relationship to a certain point where you are unwilling to let anything put you asunder, and then you go and find out that both of you aren't compatible. In that situation, what do you do?
Okay, thank you. So that is probably the first thing you're supposed to look out for.
Perfectly.
But then if you don't, and then you get to that point of your life, you're supposed to let go.
Okay, but how am I supposed to find
You're
out?
supposed to-
Because it's not written on my partner's forehead. Probably I might meet her somewhere, then
you-
start to text. Or,
and then-
okay, in our first introduction and texting, then I ask you what's your genotype. Wouldn't that be rude?
So first of all, it moves from friendship, dating, courtship before marriage.
Right.
So amid the first three, you don't even have to reach your courtship before you think of what the genotype is. Because it reaches a point in time where you feel like you would get married to the person. You should know. Just ask, just so you be safe. Because I had a doctor friend who narrated such a sad story to me, that there was this man, he had HIV, and then he was in a support group, and then he found a woman who also had HIV.
Wow.
But then they were ready to get married, like they were prepared with each other. But then on like the D-Day, the very last day before they would want to get married, yes, they checked their genotypes and then they were AS. There was no way they were going through with that marriage. So my doctor friend gave his bit that there is no need you bring a child into this world and then let the person go through
Suffer.
this much
Right.
suffering. So they had to annul their marriage.
Anyway,
So they didn't marry. So after that, the next female the man met, like in the first week of talking, he wanted to know the genotype. Genotype is not like your body count, or it's not like anything too great to tell someone about.
Right.
So know your genotype, and then sharing it with whomever you think is your partner to be is the best thing you can do for yourself.
Right. So in a situation like your doctor friend's own, Agnes, how would you communicate that to your family for them to understand perfectly well that it's not something you actually orchestrated to break someone's heart at the very last minute of getting married? How do you communicate that to your family?
It's something hard to communicate, but I think the best thing is to take the very prominent people out of your family, like your mom, your dad, take them to the doctor. Let the doctor sit them down, tell them the implications if they get married. My mother would tell me that if you meet a man and he has the whole airports of Ghana and he is AS, because you know you are AS, never get married to that person. So they should actually talk to their families and they should know about it.
Are you actually AS?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yes, you're so passionate about it.
I
Yes,
tell
yes.
you, you see, I'm a nursing student. We
Right.
go for clinicals. You meet kids on the ward, sickle cell disease, complicated with anemia. Some they don't even have their blood type in the hospital.
Really?
And the person
That
is, I tell you, the person is in a critical condition, so they have to be running helter skelter. We are looking for donor. If you don't get a donor, the child dies.
Guys, innocently.
I tell you.
This is really sad. I think it's something that we really need to talk about. This sickle cell or something. We
It's
really
serious.
need to educate the public
It's
about
true.
it. Yes, we really need to. Viewers, at this point, let's go on a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. I know you're already enjoying the show, but this also is very, very necessary. And so, a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When my parents sees me talking to a guy, they'll be like, oh, hey, why are you doing this? Who is he? Who is that? And who is it to you? You see, when parents create all this, you as a youth, you can't go straight to your parents and tell your parents that, mom, please, I'm facing this, because it's like a boundary.
How can we tell our parents they are lying about something in a nice way?
Hey, ma, oh, boy, oh, boy.
Me, I say, hey. I say, hey, oh, no, guys, like, yo, you're telling lies, mom.
It's been another wonderful episode. Like, I'm just so glad I had this opportunity with my guest on the show today. But before I sign up, The Pain in Making You Gold. Have you read it? By Mabel Faith Tano. It's a book you really need to consider reading. Yes, especially in this modern dispensation. And then she has this particular one too. Do you regret it? Do you regret it? So you can just pick the numbers down on the screens and give them a call. They'll be right at your doorstep. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for contributing. Until we meet next time. People, wait, relax. No, relax. My dear, wait, relax. Bye. Thank you for saying let's meet next time. I don't know how to sing that.
It's me and you. Jesus comes. No going back. No backing down. We'll serve the Lord. Make the kingdom come.
When we marry together, chill along, we still be the matter. We still get a view, I share a mooya. And you sound the tears on the beat.